Okay, I'm just going to talk through your whole career and bring you back to some Braintree. But so according to Wikipedia, your youth career started at Chelsea,
Indeed.
Crystal Palace, Reading. So at what age did you join Chelsea?
I was there from 12 to 15, is that right? Or 16, something like that. It's 12 to 16, yeah.
And what position were you playing?
Central midfield.
Right. And who were you playing for when you were spotted?
I was playing for a team called Sarvik,
Where
I believe, many moons ago. And then I was at Leyton Orient, my first ever sort of professional side. Then to Tottenham, and then Chelsea were the club that were kind of cherry picking the lads who were looking good around London, and a few of us ended up there.
Yeah. Okay. Who did you play with your junior youth career that we might have heard of that made it in the Football League?
I grew up with Jermaine Defoe in the same county team as Jermaine Defoe. Clearly going to be a top player from young. He'd be the biggest name. I suppose I would say I grew up with. Yeah.
Okay. And also you were a Northern Ireland international, under 16s, under 21s. Okay. Who did you get to play with or against for your country?
Stephen Davis,
right, yeah,
current
player.
Captain. Yeah, current captain. I actually played one game for Villa. I nearly signed, and Stephen was there as well. Great career he's had. Fantastic person. Knew he would be a great pro. Didn't expect him to go on. He roomed with me. Didn't expect him to go on the way he has, but phenomenal career and fair play to him. Against Antonio Reyes, God bless him. God bless him. Yeah. Spain international. That's where I played against him. Would like to say I was marking him, but to get close enough at times. He was exceptional. Exceptional player. Balance incredible. He's the best player I played against.
Brilliant. Okay. And then your playing career. After that, according to this, in 2003 you signed for Grays Athletic.
Yeah. So I was injured at Reading. I broke my foot twice in my last year. Didn't play. Had to go and play first team football at Grays under the guidance of Mickey Woodward, the chairman, and Mark Stimson at the time was the manager. I would say I adapted to non-league football pretty well, and enjoyed my time there.
Because looking through the list of clubs, there's a lot.
There is indeed, yeah.
But most of them are around Essex Hearts, including Braintree in 2007. 3 appearances.
Yep.
Also says he played in Scotland for Hamilton Academicals in 2003 and Wraith Rovers 2004-05.
Correct, that's true.
Wales for Connethley.
UEFA Cup, I believe, qualifiers, yes.
And Northern Ireland for Larne.
So my dad played there. Went back. My family were living there. I went back to. My nan was ill, and I went back and lived with her and signed for Larne to do both.
Right.
Correct.
So you've played every club in Britain.
Correct.
Every country in Britain.
Correct.
Where were your best times and why? And did you win any trophies?
Best times and why? I'd probably say that due to my own shortcomings as a young man, I can't say there were any particularly great best times. I was quite difficult to manage looking back. And now as a manager, I totally see the problem with me.
Yeah.
Looking back, but at the time you're just a young man, so I see why, despite constantly being asked to sign for different clubs, I was very difficult to manage for a long period of time. Plus I had a very short temper, which I've had to own up and deal with, and that's probably the reason why I moved around so much. My own fault, nobody else's other than mine. Looking back, it's certainly my own issue that I dealt with now, but I think it's helped me as a manager already.
Right.
If I see a bit of me in someone, I quickly pull them inside and say, listen, this is what will happen if you continue like this. So I can't answer that one because my own issue, my own problems curtailed that.
What was the best manager you played for?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's different types of managers. If you ask me who's the best that got the best out of me, I would say that non-league it would be Jody Brown, because
Where were you at the time?
that was at Haybridge.
Right.
I played for Jody 3 stints at Haybridge, certainly 2. He's probably the best coach. I know you say manage, but come to managing me, he just let me be me, with all that comes with, which is a lot of aggression. But at that point, I was controlling it a lot better. I was 30, 29, and I had it under control. And certainly, he was also the best tactician at the level, no doubt about that. He's an excellent coach. So I'd have to say him.
Okay. And who was? You've already mentioned some players already, but who was the best player you've played with or against?
So I've mentioned Reyes.
Yeah.
I will mention another name. I mean, I played against Ray Parder. He was a great player. He was at Arsenal at his pomp. I was only a youngster, mind you. It was at Highbury. We lost 7-0. I was at Palace. I hardly saw the ball. But Ashley Cole played. All their fantastic players were playing that day. But there was a player who played for Falkirk and Rangers and Hibs, Trinidad and Tobago International. Russell Latapi.
Yeah.
What a player. He drank 4 nights a week, smoked cigars. What a player. Found him mercurial. And if you speak to Dwight York about him,
Yeah.
his opinion of him will tell you how good he was. He was magical. Feet were incredible. Didn't really like running a lot, didn't have to. He was a phenomenal player. Yeah, Russell Latapi.
And your management career, according to Wikipedia again, was Walthamstow first in 2018-20 as a player manager.
Correct, first of all.
And then you joined Braintree in November last year.
Yes.
Did you always want to coach or manage?
I think I was doing it 4 years previous, really. If I wasn't captain, I was player coach. I think I kind of my role as a player from 26 onwards was quite managerial type player.
Yep.
And I think it was quite a seamless transition from player to player manager to assistant, etc. And previous to that, so I'd already had a little taste at Ware. I went in at Ware and tried to help Ware get off the bottom, and we got their first clean sheet of the season in my first week there, and that gave me the taste for it. I thought, I think I'm going to be okay here.
Yeah.
And then I continued that as player manager at Walthamstow. So yeah, there was no doubt about it in my mind. I was always going to become a manager. Yeah.
Excellent. What made you want to apply for the Braintree job?
Well,
How much did you know about the club before you came in?
quite a lot. I mean, I was only here for a short time, and it was mainly financial. To be honest, it was about getting in the playoffs. We didn't win one of the 3 games I was here, and finances were then looked at again, and therefore I was one that would then leave, unfortunately, too early.
Yeah.
I knew that the club was a good club. It's the same chairman. I had friends that were playing. We're all still friends together. Nicky Sims is obviously my assistant manager.
Yep.
He's been here for 4 or 5 years, a well-known player here. I knew George then signed me at Bournemouth later on. So I had a good knowledge of the club. Now, what to answer your question, why? It's more of a case of I felt as if I'd cut my teeth at Walthamstow and I needed a new challenge, but a bigger one, something that was telling me that I needed something bigger. I'm an ambitious person, very ambitious person. Running a business with a lot of employees and pressures that come with it. Running a football club was quite normal and natural to me, and I felt like this club could do with a bit of a shake. So I spoke to Lee, quite honestly and openly, and said, I think I can help you. Here's the reasons why I think I can, that being one of them. And we had a good chat about it, and he agreed that the club needed a change, and obviously it hadn't got off to a great start, and I was thankful and grateful that he trusted me to do so, and I think in the short term I've repaid him so far.
Excellent. Tell me a bit about your backroom stuff. We obviously know Nicky's from his playing time here, but what's his role in the club?
So, well, Nicky's role is basically is to be my closest confidant, and I do talk to him every single day. Known him a long time. We are very, very close off the pitch, and he's someone I trust. So his role is massively important to my job.
Right.
It helps me do my job because a lot of assistants are people that are wanting the manager's job. Nicky doesn't want the manager's job. Nicky wants to help me do the best for this club.
Right.
Nicky was my assistant at Walthamstow, but this club is special to him, so it means a little bit more. I've underplayed that. It means a hell of a lot more to Nicky that we do well. When we won our first game here, he was emotional about it. I can tell you that. So his role is to support me, and he does it very well. My coach Chase Stadart mainly focuses on the attacking play and strikers individually.
Yeah.
So that's something I wasn't good at, and therefore I delegate that to him. And for instance, tonight he took that half of the group, the attacking players away, and his role is really, really important because he sees what I would never see. So he's been fantastic as well. Glenn's our strength and conditioning coach. Again, it's something I thought was important to add. It's something that can give us a little bit of an edge. Our pre-season's going extremely well physically, and all that credit has to go to Glenn. If we're not the fittest team that are part-time, it's important I say that, because there's no excuse for a full-time club to be not as fit as us, although I do think that could be possible. Glenn will have to take all the credit for being the fittest part-time club at this level, because he puts in so much work, and he's been a brilliant addition. Kiri, a goalkeeping coach, but he's more than that. I have to say that right away. He's not just goalkeeping coach. He's heavily involved with the youth now. He's taking control of that. He's a good go-between. His knowledge of the game and players within the level is great. Has been a great sort of seamless entry to me coming here. He was here with the previous manager, and he's stayed, and it was my choice for him to stay because he was great for me to come in and be made to feel as he had support of someone who was here previously, and he seems to love the club, and I can't fault him in any way. So he's been brilliant. I can't speak highly enough of him. And then obviously we have our physio Gemma, who's just so important, because sometimes it'll be her who's responsible for getting the players out there. Obviously fans won't know that, but come 1 o'clock on a Saturday, if they're with Gemma and they're out there and they're 50-50, it's her that's helped get them out there. So very happy with my backroom team, must say.
Is it easy for you to relate with the players, being a younger manager who has played in and around the leagues?
Certainly yes. It is. The short answer is yes. I know what it's like fresh in the memory, so I can speak to them on that level. However, there has to be the distance from that as well. I'm no longer a player. Your best days are players, so your best days are playing, no matter what level, just playing the game, because that's what you start doing. It's also the thing you miss the most when you stop, because it's the thing you started. You just love kicking the ball, and that's what you love doing. But now that I'm a manager, my mind's totally focused on winning games of football and how we do that, and my work is now got to be distance from the player, because as a player all you do is enjoy your own performance, but as a manager all you do is enjoy the win. And it is different, but it does make it easy, but also can be a bit tricky if you talk too much as a player, and then you have to distance yourself as the disciplinarian, so it's a bit of a game of gauging the distance.
Okay. You came to the club in difficult times, no fans, team battling relegation. How did you assess the squad, and what was your remit?
Everybody out? No, that's not true. Well, for instance, I'll give you an example. John Vilrenny was playing left back in the game that I'd seen on TV away to Eastbourne. John Vilrenny's a right midfield player, and playing left back was crucifying him. Totally, if someone was to watch a game and go, who is that playing left back? If they didn't know him, I did know him. I knew him previously. So I felt as if things that could be changed quickly. I knew Matty Johnson from playing against the Mini Moons. Sim was a good friend and teammate. And there was other players that I was more than familiar with. And I just felt as if style maybe could have been changed. The style needed to be a bit more risk-free. But yeah, it was obviously it had to be a turnaround because the mentality had been used to losing. So despite the fact maybe some players were still good enough, I had to bring new faces in that weren't used to losing because it's a habit. So of course we had to go and get people with experience, and I went and got Nathan Smith and 27-year-olds, 28-year-olds and people who knew how to win a game of football. Ugly. And yeah, without fans it was even harder because I suppose from our point of view being bottom of the league, fans could have maybe pulled us through maybe in a game where we scored the first goal. For instance, we lost to Oxford at home after scoring first. Who knows? Fans here, we score first. Do we then get to half time at a different scoreline? Just as an example. But it was difficult, but it didn't worry me at all. I actually welcomed it because if that's as hard as it gets, bring it on.
Since Braintree's relegation in 2016-17, we've had several managers. We've had to build a new team every season. How many players have you managed to retain from last season?
Half the team.
Right. And how important is it to have a nucleus of the squad?
Hugely important. If I'm honest, I would like to have retained more, but finances dictated that they went elsewhere. It wasn't through lack of trying. So Preston Edwards, Corey Davidson, Kieran Clements, Arjun,
Nicky.
Will be remaining. A nucleus is so important to have a foundation and build from. It was important, and I think keeping my captain Matty Johnson was vital to me, and Preston's experience, the ex-England goalkeeper who didn't even play for me. I just know him. He was injured when I got here. I never played one game, so he's like a new signing. But he's part of the. So, but your answer to your question is how important? Very.
Okay. What type of players do you like to recruit? Are you looking for versatility, younger, experienced players? Which way are you going?
This year, I think I'm going to go with. Look at my squad now. It's quite energetic. It's quite youthful, but I wouldn't say it's naive. There's a couple of players that haven't played the level, but then there was 7 that I signed on a Saturday that played on the Tuesday that hadn't played the level, and we won 1-0. I think it's more of a case of giving the right information. If you know they can play, let them play their natural game, but within a structure that wins a game of football rather than what they think is a good game within their own little personal world, or what is more effective. And I think that's the difference between experience and forget age. If you play well, you think you've played well, but you haven't been effective, therefore you haven't played well. And just getting that message across to a couple of them is what I'm doing at the moment. But we'll be fine. We've recruited a mixture. We're probably one more experienced player away from me being happy with the current group and mixture of experience between youth and experience.
Okay. What style of football are you looking to play? Have you got any particular formation you like to play?
Very flexible in the formation. We have left-sided centre halves. We have a balanced attack. We have flexibility in midfield. We have fluidity up front. So it gives me lots of options in terms of formation, and I certainly wouldn't tell anybody early pre-season what formation I'm going to play.
Braintree have often struggled against teams with taller, more physical players in this league. Is this something you want to address, or do you consider when squad building?
Well, we certainly didn't do it last year. We actually were the team that were quite dominant physically. We had players who were certainly physical. I think that every team's got to have the characteristics of the manager. I'm a physical person, and my team will be physical regardless of height. Of course, you have to adapt with height because there's set pieces that have to be defended and also attacked. So certainly, we won't be short in that area. And probably no team that I ever manage will be.
What size squad are you hoping to have?
500.
Good luck with that.
It's their standard 18, I think. A couple will go out on loan, by the way, that's for sure. They need a bit of first team football. I've signed a couple of gems that need work. They'll come back in again. We're working with them now, and maybe one will surprise me. Maybe one or two will surprise me, but if we have 20 registered players on the first game of the season, there'll be 2 or 3 starting out on loan.
Brilliant. I know we only played 16 games last season, and you weren't in charge of all of them. But top scorer was Krasnicki with 3, and we conceded 34 goals. So it would appear you've got a few issues to address at both ends of the pitch.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think our form, we were top 6, so I can't be held to accountable for that. But you've only got to score once when you game of football. I think that's important. You don't need to score 4 and concede 3. I don't like that scoreline. I prefer to win.
So not the Barry Fry way. You score 3, we'll score 4.
No, just the Italian way. The Italian job. What one's enough?
Don't mention the Italians.
Oh, sorry. Their pizza's great though.
With the fluidity of player movement throughout the season at this level, how confident are you of keeping a settled squad, especially as we use over 50 players in 2 previous seasons?
Very. I'm very confident in keeping a settled squad, mainly because the players that are coming here aren't coming here for financial gain. They're coming here because I've promised them something, which I won't disclose, and they'll get that every week, every training session, and eventually they'll see the benefits of that themselves. I don't think they'll get that elsewhere at this level. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of time in my hands to give more, and I will give more. Again, it's been part of the recruitment sort of process. These players that want to develop themselves are here for that reason. So I'm very confident keeping what I want here. What I want will stay.
Yeah.
Nobody will leave because I want them to stay and they'll leave. They'll be here because I want them to be here.
Right. Pre-season friendlies underway.
Yep.
You had 2 teams out at Newmarket last weekend. The Iron led 3-2 at half-time, finished up 6-2 winners. What positives or negatives can you take from that game? What needs improving, or what are you happy with?
No, I'm not happy. I saw a paper article today that said I was happy. I'm not particularly happy. It's too early to be happy or disappointed for that matter. It's way too early. But I think the most important thing is minutes under the belt. And you look for characteristics and habits in players and see how they fit into your style and what you want to do and how you want to play, and also relationships and building up partnerships, and it takes a while, and for what we want to achieve, which I'll keep under my hat, there has to be one characteristic within every single player that plays for me, and that's why I'm not happy with Saturday, because I saw 1 or 2 players not have the one characteristic that you must have to even spend time with me, never mind play for me. So 6-2 flatters to deceive, and we've spoken about it already this week. This has been a different week this week in comparison. It was very tough last week. We had a tough session on Tuesday. Tonight was more football and a bit more structured towards this weekend. And I'm looking forward to this one because this is the one I would say very early test, but a good test nonetheless.
Yeah. What do you think the team can achieve this season?
Well, it has to progress. It has to be competitive. There'll be no This team must be a team that when I wake up on a Saturday morning, I know we can beat the opposition. I'll never have this team will be feared of anybody.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into a game thinking they're superior. We'll be competitive, that's for sure. I can't say any more than that.
Okay. Lastly, any message for the fans?
Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, brilliant. Brian, thanks very much. Thanks for your
My
time.
absolute pleasure, mate.
Okay.
Love that. That was brilliant. Great questions, by the way.
Thank you.